Today I have Frank Basa from Nord Precious Metals. Frank, we just came off of an investor talk and everybody could not believe how high grade your silver is. How about we start there?
Yeah, you see, a lot of people are not aware. At the turn of last century, this was actually the highest producing, highest grade area in the world for a few years. And then after, typical boom or bust. And we might be going back to another cycle of super high grades, high amounts of silver to be produced out of this area. So, a lot of people, when I gave up my first inferred resource, was 7.5 million ounces at 250 ounces a ton, basically 8,000 grams a ton. And a lot of people didn't believe that. But then, we started drilling and we came out with these crazy grades like 89,000 grams a ton, silver only. We don't do silver equivalents. And then you have 50,000 grams, 20,000 grams. And, we were just underground at the Castle Mine drilling, and we hit a whole bunch of veins up to 5,000 grams a ton. So, when you put things in perspective, the old timers, 5,000 grams a ton was too low of a grade to mine. Think about that, And then we took a bulk sample out of there. There were a whole bunch of broken ore in the stope. So we took out 20 tons and we processed it in our high gravity mill, and we poured 1,000 ounce bar. So it comes out to about 50 ounces a ton, which is very much in line, which when Agnico operated the mine from 32 to 80 ounces a ton. So it's a high grade area. The Cobalt Camp's known for that. And there's also a lot of critical metals. So really, the camp is known for the cobalt, nickel, copper, but everybody threw it away. But the real value, short term, will be the silver. And I think silver might really go to a new level.
Everybody, of course, in the audience agrees with you about that, Frank, but you also did something I haven't heard before, which was the story on how you found the project. Can you step back and tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Like I said, I worked for Agnico in the mid 80s. And, Agnico shut down the camp, and the price of silver was quite low. And then the president passed away and a new president came in. And we're very much aware of the Castle mine because when we worked, it was the highest grade mine. So the owner of the mine called me up and says, Frank, are you interested in the Castle mine? I said, sure. He says, what do you want for it? He said 25,000. I said, 25,000. He said, yeah. I says, I'm going to put it on my credit card. I'll buy it right away. So shortly thereafter, we drilled our first discovery hole. It was 2 meters at 6,000 grams a ton. And then within a very short period of time, the cheapest property now in the camp is $5 million. The next one is 20 million. The next one, 23 million. Another mining company came in the area. They spent 10 million buying their property. So the properties in the camp uh, just escalated. But the potential is great. I mean, they're finding a lot of silver. They're finding silver up to 15,000 grams a ton. So you know what? The camp is basically, when I was here, when I was with Agnico, they're looking for the mother lode. We have never found a mother lode. I think it's still here. So a lot to be done in the Cobalt Camp.
You also just announced a capital raise that went well. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we wanted to do is raise about $1 million hard. We had about 650. We engaged the services of a broker. And I thought, okay, we'll just do 1 million. They said, well, let's try for a little more. So it went to 4 million. Within a few days, went to 7 million. And then within a month was 11 million. So we took the 4 million. We just thought we're just going to dilute ourselves. So we took the 4 million. I've never seen anything like that. The price of silver is going up. Like all the stars were lined up for us. And it just went super fast, super fast.
Well, you also put out some news about your uh, Beaver Mine tailings
Yeah.
producing commercial high grade silver concentrate. Do you think that helped assist you in the raise?
I think what we will do, like in Ontario now, they came out with this thing called a recovery permit, which is phenomenal. Basically, you get a permit in 10 weeks. You can't get that anywhere in the world. So we have these very high grade beaver tails. We drilled them. They're not very big quantity, but the grade's between 4 to 10 ounces a ton. Some people have a resource in that grade of 4 to 10 ounces a ton. So we like to reprocess it. we are applying for this recovery permit. It'd be a seasonal thing. So we might process and probably recover maybe 500,000 ounces of silver a year. And we'll see how that proceeds. But the camp itself, there's tens of millions of ounces of silver in these old tailings. And when we were at Agnico, we processed a lot of these. So the value's there, price, you think about it, even at $48 an ounce, it went up to 55. People are talking, 80 to 120. If you talk to my European investors, even the way worse, lowest grade tailings are economical.
You're marching towards a 3-year plan towards production. Can you tell us a little bit more about that plan of action?
We actually have two plants. One is a gravity plant specifically made for the tailings, and the other plant is for hard rock, whereby, you mine the material from underground, you crush, grind it, and pour a silver bar. So our intent is to get a permit for the tailings, and we'd like to see if we can start producing next year on the tailings. And then we're also working towards getting our permits for the hard rock, so we can process the material in our hard rock mill in the Cobalt Camp. So we're looking at being producers. We're kind of targeting a 3-year window to go to production. Hopefully, in that 3 years, we'll be doing the tailings first, which will start next year. Will be seasonal, and hopefully we can then move over to the hard rock within that same 3-year time frame.
Well, Frank, as always, thank you so much for your time, and for everybody interested in finding out more about Nord Precious Metals, please go to the following website. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome, Tracy. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.